Nico Harrison is out of there. The first question I got to ask is, did he deserve to be fired? Yes or no?
Nope. I don't think
Morris, I don't know.
I don't think he deserved to be fired.
See?
But Anthony Davis do look super fat though, boy. I tell you, boy. Something about them Dallas women and them Dallas food, and that Dallas food, boy. Cause god damn. I think that was the nail in the coffin when he traded away Luka for being fat or whatever the case it was. And then you see Anthony Davis fat and not playing. But it's like, brother, yeah, something else. You know, yeah, that was the nail in the coffin, Ox, right there. That was over.
If they was gonna fire him, to Marshall's point, they should have fired him when he traded Luka. That was my only thing I was talking about yesterday. If you were gonna fire Nico, you had to fire him then. If this is about that, since you didn't fire him, then I think they should have waited. I think they should have held on through the rest of the season. He not, you know what I'm saying? He's not coaching the team, and he's not on the training staff, you know. So, but he's gone.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Ron, so one of the things that I found out in the NBA is winning cures everything. No matter what it is, winning cures everything. People get amnesia when you win. So when the Dallas Mavericks are in the NBA championship and you trade Luka, the short game was what the idea was, right? And this was something that had to work right now. This isn't something that had to work, even though the plan was like over the course of 3 years, which also is a short game, right? No doubt about that. But with that being said, it still had to work. Don't worry about that. I got people coming in and out of the house. So
okay. What to say?
It was the short game. And this was something that had to work right now. We saw what Anthony Davis looked like that first afternoon when they played in Houston, And this looked like this was something that could work. We didn't anticipate Kyrie Irving tearing up his knee. No, we didn't anticipate that. The anticipation of Anthony Davis getting hurt, okay, he's got a history of that. But if he could stay healthy, we're going to change the dynamic of the team, and this is the short game. We're going to get people to forget about what we did with Luka because we're trying to win right now, and we're going to win in a different way. That's the idea, and we're going to do it in a short period of time. And if we're able to do this, remember, if we're able to do this, people will definitely forget. They won't forget about Luka, but it won't be as much. The blow won't be as much. Well, then Kyrie Irving tears up his knee. In the process of Kyrie Irving tearing up his knee, Anthony Davis gets hurt. This just gets compounded with him coming into camp this year out of shape. And then they go from being in the NBA championship the year before, to now being in last place. That's all people remember now. It's not the fact that they traded Luka. They went from first to worse. That's where we are now with them. And yes, Nico definitely is the scapegoat in this because remember, I'm the general manager. That's my job. But there's people who sign my checks, which means that I have to go to these people before I do anything. I got to go to the president of basketball operations. They have to go to the owner, and they got to sign off on all of this. This isn't something that I'm just going and doing. And you know what? I'm going to trade Luka, which also, by the way, isn't something that he just came up with that day. This was a process between both him and Rob Pelinka in Los Angeles. This was something that's been going on for months. This wasn't something that just happened. This was something that's been going on for months, and they finally made the deal. But I think that if these guys would have stayed healthy, and the Dallas Mavericks would have made a run last year, which the way Anthony Davis was looking, if they would have made a run last year, and coming into this season, possibly championship contenders again, I don't think that this thing would have happened. But the fact that they're as bad as they are, no.
Obviously not. Obviously not. If they were making a championship run, then you wouldn't fire them. But at the end of the day, Nico gonna get a goddamn documentary for this shit. But I just feel like he made a decision. He lived with the decision. The key thing is, did he make that decision on his own, or was management behind it pushing it? Because if that's the case, then what they firing for? Because I know the rumor was around that before Luka was traded that the Mavericks didn't want to pay that money anyway. Like they just didn't want to pay that money to Luka Doncic anyway. Not specifically to Luka Doncic, just new ownership didn't want to spend that type of money. So I don't know. You know, I know people keep saying Nico is the fall guy. I'm not sure if he's the fall guy. Now I don't know. That's what we want to kind of get to the bottom of and figure out. Because if management came together, I know Mark Cuban said he had no idea about that, but what is he supposed to say? But if management came together and said, hey, we need to do something because we don't want to pay this money or whatever the case it may be. Dallas is that, that type of market, not this type of market like LA where they can go over and spend and shit like that. Then it is what it is. But if not, if Nico made a decision on his own to do that, then like Ox said, they should have just fired him then.
But Jordan, remember what you're saying. Jordan, remember what you just said. Nico made a decision. Well, the decision that Nico made, it wasn't like something, we trading LaMelo Ball tomorrow. Well, this is something that came up over time. So
over a week.
No, it wasn't. I think it was way longer than that.
That's what the Rob Pelinka thing was saying. He said it was like over a week.
I think that
he mentioned it and he came back to the table.
Well, I mean, Jordan, they could have been thinking about trading him for a week. The conversation with the Lakers could have been.
That's what I'm thinking.
They could have been thinking about trading him for a year. The conversation with the Lakers.
You can make your face like that all you want, man. This dude is fat. No, hey Jordan, don't let this dude up the hook. This dude is fat. This dude is out of shape. This dude doesn't play defense. This dude is fat. This dude is out of shape. He doesn't play defense. He's up for an extension for $350 million. So if this is what we're getting from,
I heard that they didn't want to pay that.
If this is what we're getting from him right now at age 31, we're going to be on the books with this dude for $70 million. Are we interested in doing that? Is that something that we're interested in doing long term?
Yes.
Logically, that does make sense to me.
That's what I heard that they didn't.
Logically, that does make sense to me. Right now, at age 26 years old, hell no, it doesn't make sense because you got arguably the best scorer in the game. You got a top 5 player in the game. But if you're looking downhill and you're looking at what this contract is going to look like in 5 years, and this is what I'm getting from him, a guy who's fat, who's out of shape, who doesn't play defense, we're getting our ass kicked because of him defensively, even though he has a lot to do. In fact, he has solely what to do with what we're doing, getting to where we're trying to get.
But yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with Luka Doncic. I just think they made it that so they could trade him. I heard that the Mavericks just genuinely didn't want to pay that money. Like they didn't want to be responsible for $350 million. Like that's what I heard it was about. Now, if they want to blame it on all that shit and say, to justify trading him, because realistically, you really can't justify it, to be honest with you. I mean, I know we're looking at hindsight, but even during the time, it was very hard to justify that. So yeah. I feel like they just didn't want to pay that. They just didn't want to pay $350 million. Like
it was something that's
a lot of money. Let's look at the Celtics. The Celtics end up doing it. They won a championship out of it, but essentially the whole ownership group got out. They out, and the new owner said, "We not paying his salary." So they traded away pretty much all their pieces and kept the two that they, for now, you know what I mean? Like for now, them two together. But realistically, like that's a lot of money coming off them books.
But we got some new information from Shams, and I'm just gonna set the table for everything. So word for word, the Dallas Mavericks and owner Patrick Dumont are expected to fire general manager Nico Harrison at 10 a.m. Central Time today in a meeting. Obviously, that was 12 minutes ago. Nico Harrison is officially hired. The Mavericks are firing Harrison 9 months after his jarring and stunning Luka Doncic trade, a move which the owner, Patrick Dumont, took accountability and accepted as a mistake in a courtside interaction with a fan on Monday. We will talk about that. If you guys seen, he was sitting next to a fan that was wearing a Luka Doncic jersey. I don't know exactly how he took accountability in that, but we'll talk about that. Also, the Mavericks and Patrick Dumont have a 10:30 a.m. Central Time meeting to appoint executives Michael Finley and Matt Riccardi to lead basketball operations, and in interim, sources have confirmed. So
remember that was a big deal when Mike Finley was taking drinks from Luka and stuff like that. I don't know where Michael Finley's feelings were as far as that. I don't know if y'all know if he spoke on it, but I'll be curious to know if he was with the trade or if he was against it. That's something I'd be curious to know. But I mean, that's you can't cry over spilled orange juice. You know what I'm saying? He's gone. Gotta let it go. You know what I mean? Just move forward.
Penn, are you gonna let spilled orange juice?
Look, man, trading an all-star should get you fired. Like if you trade an all-star and what you trade him for doesn't get you back some, it should get you fired. Okay? trading an all NBA superstar, future MVP in his prime shouldn't just get you fired. It should get you banned from the league. Now, this is a PR stunt. Let's just be real for it. Like, this is a PR stunt.
Paying from the league is crazy.
No, banned. You don't get to do any more roster moves. We don't want you running drafts. We don't want you doing trade calls. We don't want you courtside. We don't want you in the arena. We just want you gone. Okay.
Damn.
We want to forget that you ever did this. Now, I don't think Nico Harrison did this on his own, but I do think that he's taking the fall for it on his own. And I do think that's unfortunate. But that's the way the business works, unfortunately, man. Sometimes you got these meddling ass owners and they come in and they say, this is what I want. I don't want to pay this guy. And I want you to go draft this guy. And my daughter, who's been watching basketball for 12 minutes, she watched a TikTok highlight of this draft player. You got to draft him in the second round. Some of these owners be like this. Vivek Ranadive, shit, man, 17 years. I think he's been in Sacramento, or however long he's been in Sacramento. 10 years. He's been like this.
I don't think that's why he drafted some of the guys he drafted. I think he drafted him because he's too deep in the analytics shit.
I want Stauskas. Yes, that dude.
Too deep in the analytics shit. That's
what Buddy Hield. Yeah, he's the next Steph Curry. Yep.
Too deep.
We didn't draft Buddy Hield.
That was New Orleans drafted him. Right?
But they wanted Buddy
Hield. We didn't draft Buddy. It doesn't matter if we wanted. We didn't draft him. But go ahead, keep going.
Y'all had made a promise to CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard to draft them. Broke those promises to draft whoever the hell y'all drafted that year. I think it was Ben McLemore. So my point is, organizations sometimes run this way. There are certain owners that are going to just meddle out. They're going to hire the right people. They're going to let them do their jobs. And if they don't do a good job, they get fired. There's certain owners that are going to make the GM do what they want to do, nudge them in the right direction all the time, basically holding the job over their head, and then fire them when it doesn't work out. These are egomaniacs, and I think that's what happened to Nico Harrison here.
I don't know. I just know.
Imagine.
For the most part, he made a decision. Shit happened. Didn't work out the way it's supposed to work out, and you bank on players kind of lighting that fire. He banked on AD getting the fire lit in him. Shit, AD lit the fire. Lit the damn barbecue pit because his ass can't stay off the ribs. So. I don't know.
Mitch Kupchak should have got fired for trading Shaq. He was going to lose. He was going to lose Bryant, by the way. So he had to make a decision. So CD had gotten fired for trading Shaq.
Yo, this is a false equivalent. Shaquille
Lamar Odom came and balled out. So
how old was Shaq when he got traded?
They didn't get back Lamar Odom, or they didn't have a Kobe Bryant to lean on. Kyrie was there, but they don't have Kobe Bryant to lean on. Yeah, but at the same time, Nico made a bad decision. I don't think it was just him, though. I think that's just collectively, because there's no way Nico brought that shit to them and they said no, and he did it anyway. Like, they said, we don't want to pay the bread.
Wait a second.
I don't understand how we're blaming Nico for getting Cooper flag. But
that's
we already know what that is, right? We already know what that is.
No, I ain't
you just said to me, Penn, the reason why I brought that up, Penn, because you just said to me it's not the same. It's a false equivalent. No, it's not. You just said to me that anytime you trade a superstar, anytime you trade an all-star, you should be fired.
I said if it doesn't work out, you literally
just told us 5 seconds ago.
Took a long time to work out.
When you trade an all-star, when you trade an all-pro, you should be fired.
And it doesn't work out. It doesn't work out.
It took a long time for the Lakers thing to work out. It took 6 years.
But Shaq and Kobe were never going to work together after that point. They wanted to be on different teams, and Kobe asked for him to be out. Did he not? Now, chill. It's interesting you brought up Shaquille O'Neal, because there might be a point in Shaquille O'Neal's career that does mirror this. Can you set the record straight, if you are able to? Did Shaq want to leave Orlando, or did Orlando not want to pay Shaq?
It's the latter instead of the former.
That's what I thought.
If they would have just matched the deal, he would have stayed there.
This is the point. Orlando is a cheap organization. They have been a cheap organization for a really long time. So when I say that you lost the best player in the league because you didn't want to pay him, that is very similar to this Nico Harrison situation and the Dumont situation in Dallas. So yes, the Shaquille O'Neal, to Luka thing does make sense. Only when you think of it from the Orlando perspective, not the Lakers perspective.
Right. Do y'all think that maybe, obviously, and Mars said this yesterday, and I kind of just repeated that a little bit. But Mars, you made a big point. Like as soon as he brought up trading Luka Doncic, you would have got him out of there. You would have told him to pack his bags. You would have packed his bags for him. You said that yesterday, right, Mars? So I'm just saying, like, the fact that they didn't do that, doesn't it seem like they should have just kind of held on a little bit? Like, I don't understand. This just seems like a weird time to fire him right now, yo. Like, and I know that the team looks really bad right now, but it makes sense to me that they look bad right now since everybody's hurt. So it's just, I'm just really confused about why they decided to do it right now, as opposed to either doing it once as soon as his life was getting threatened in Dallas, and as soon as he made that trade. Like, why did they not do it right there on the spot unless they were complicit, which of course they were complicit. You can't trade Luka on your own. So it's kind of like, if they weren't going to trade him then, why didn't they just wait to see what this team looks like in, February and March, when you got Derek Lively, when you got Anthony Davis, and you got Kyrie Irving. And I understand that Klay Thompson's very frustrated because he signed up to play with Luka and Kyrie. But I know they're not trading Nico Harrison because Klay Thompson's frustrated, right? So it just seems pretty weird to me. Like, were they planning on doing this from the jump? Were they just like, oh, we're gonna get rid of his ass too? Don't worry about it. He can get this money off the books for us. We'll let him do the trade, and then we'll get rid of his ass later on. Like, that's the only thing. So once again, y'all know how I felt about it when the trade happened, and I'm not walking that back, but I'm just kind of curious, like, what happened to make them decide, okay, we'll fire him in November. That just seems like a weird time to fire him.
Right quick. Hold up, y'all. Right quick. We haven't heard from Mars yet. I would like for Mars to speak into this situation, how he feels about it, and ultimately just answer answer Ox's question. Why do you think that they chose now?
I don't know. I don't know why they chose anything. I don't know why they chose not to fire him when he suggested the trade. So I can't project what I think is going through the Mavs ownership mind. Some people say it's about a casino. Some people say it was their idea and Nico's the fool guy. I don't know. I think it was a stupid trade. Firing him now is better now than never. Better now than later. I'd rather it should have been in February, but then it wasn't in February. It should have been when Kyrie tore his ACL, but then it wasn't when Kyrie tore his ACL. It should have been when AD showed up to training camp fat, but it wasn't when AD showed up to training camp fat. If it took them losing to the Bucks last night for them to finally do what was right, cool, I'll take it. Better late than never. Like, I don't know why it took so long or why they didn't hold on for this season, but you guys had a lot more faith in this Mavs team than I did. Right. So that's why I guess you're looking at it through a more optimistic lens. I didn't think this team was that good to begin with. Well, last year, I thought they were good before Kyrie tore his ACL. This year, I had them in the play-in at best anyway, so I wasn't that high on this team. And
so, quick follow-up, Mars. If everybody gets healthy this season and they turn it all the way around, then what? Like, are they like, oh, damn, we were kind of early?
No, them firing Nico is what spearheaded everyone coming back. It brought good vibes to the organization.
In Mars's eyes, even if they win it, you don't come off the 25, 26-year-old all-pro, all-star for the next 5, 6, 7 years. No matter what happens with Dallas, you don't trade Luka Doncic, period. Even if we are looking at this, thing in the aspect of winning right now, and the Dallas Mavericks are looking at Nico, and the Dallas Mavericks are looking at Luka going, we ain't winning with this dude.
Chill.
It doesn't make a difference in the eyes of Mars.
Luka had done more winning in the recent history than AD had. So, like, Luka was driving more winning than Anthony Davis was. 17 months ago, the Mavs were in the finals.
They were just in the championship. Yes, they were.
The way we talk in NBA years, like, people talk about it like OKC won the championship last year. No, they won a championship 5 months ago. Dallas were in the finals 17 months ago.
Correct.
They're now damn near at the bottom of the Western Conference. It's them and the Pelicans. Luka Doncic, since 2022, has been in the conference finals, missed the playoffs, gone to the finals. Anthony Davis, in that same time frame, has missed the playoffs, gone to the conference finals, lost in round 1. Luka Doncic had drove more winning in the recent history than Anthony Davis had. Luka Doncic already was a better player than Anthony Davis was. Luka Doncic was 6 years younger than Anthony Davis was. That season, even bad fat Luka, in my opinion, was playing better than Anthony Davis was. Like, for me, the trade was dumb from every single angle. If you want to win in the short term, Luka's a better option. If you want to have the better player, Luka's the better option. If you want to have the better future, Luka's the better option. If you want the fans to be happy, Luka's the better option. The roster was built for Luka. Like every single step of the way, Luka made more sense for this team. From the way the roster was already constructed, from the future of the roster with the 25-year-old, from the fact that he's the better player than Anthony Davis, the fact that he's been more impactful towards winning than Anthony Davis, the fact that he's less of an injury risk than Anthony Davis. Every single step of the way would say Luka makes more sense for this team. And yet they decided to trade him. And not only did they decide to trade him, they decided to only enter negotiations with the Lakers. They didn't even shop Luka Doncic to see what his price was. He went straight to Rob Pelinka. He went straight to Rob Pelinka and said, "Hey, Anthony Davis." No, not let's see. Maybe hey, let's ask the Spurs if they're willing to get off Wemby. Let's ask the Bucks if they're willing to get off Giannis. Obviously, they're going to say no because they're competent.
They did ask Milwaukee.
But the fact of the matter is, if you're only going to like 2 teams and saying, "Hey, Luka Doncic," you're not even exploring the guy's value correctly. So you didn't even approach trading him in the way that would make sense. So you made a dumb decision, and you didn't even make the dumb decision.
Yep.
Well, it was just stupid.
I think there was a short list of players that they wanted back for him, and one was Giannis and one was Anthony Davis. And I think that what that tells you is they had tunnel vision about defense. They had this idea that defense had cost them the finals. They didn't think about all the offense that got them there, and they said, we need to get one of the best defenders in the league. Now, chill. I need to ask you a question. We're on the same team. We're down 1. Okay. You give me the ball, 8 seconds on the clock. And for some reason, down 1, I take a half-court shot. Brain fart, Chris Childs moment.
What are you
doing? But it went in. But it goes in.
Yeah.
Are you dapping me up, or are you looking at me real funny in the locker room like, what's wrong with this dude?
I'm definitely dapping you up.
I'm doing both. I'm doing both.
Yeah, I'm definitely dapping you up. But I'm also thinking as I'm dapping you up, like, what the hell did you do that for? Like,
I'm dapping you up, but saying you better never do that again. But
yeah, we could have got something better than that. Like, what were you thinking when you did that?
Right. So the point here is that probability locks in at the point of the decision, not afterwards. Right. This whole talk about what if the Dallas Mavericks win a championship, what if they had won a championship, is irrelevant. At the point of making the decision, you can't know that. If right now I decide to trade 6 first-round picks to the San Antonio Spurs and I get Wemby, that's a dumb decision. It doesn't matter if 10 years down the line, one of those picks turns into a player that's better than Wemby. At the moment that I make the decision, it's a bad decision. Now, conversely, if I trade for Wemby and I trade 6 first-round picks and all my young players for Wemby and everyone's ripping the Spurs, and the next day Wemby tears his Achilles, it doesn't suddenly become a good decision like, oh, I got off the guy before he tore it, because I didn't know that. So you can only make a decision with what you know. And that's where I'm at right now with this show, is like the decision is dumb from the perspective of the moment the decision was made. The reasons the decision was made. It doesn't matter what happens after. It doesn't matter that you got Cooper Flag. It doesn't matter if you win a championship. It doesn't matter if you win 2 championships.
Sure.
It doesn't matter. And all that matters is how you feel about it after. Right now, not only was it a dumb decision, but you also kind of feel bad about it. It's not like Cooper came out of the gate and looked like a superstar out of the gate. He might become one, but we don't know that yet. It's not like you came out of the gate and you went right back to the finals with Kyrie and AD, and you can sell your fans on, look, we're still there, we're still good, and we got Cooper. You can't do that either. And it's not like the Mavericks came out to some blazing
hot start. And stay right there. What you
up?
Just said, what the thing that you just said. So this is how thin this line is. Right, when we're talking about fans and when we're talking about organizations, because Mars, you just made a very good point. More times than not, when you trade in somebody like Luka, I mean, Jabbar got traded. He was 28 years old. Shaq got traded. He was still awesome when he got traded. When you're trading somebody like that, more times than not, you're not going to get back what you gave up. Right? When Kevin Love got traded, you're not going to get back what you gave
55 cents on the dollar.
That's why the line is so thin. So with that being said, we know how fans are. We hear fans in the stands all the time. Fire Nico. What happens if this team gets back to the NBA championship and they win it? On the premise of what they were trying to do. Are we still firing Nico? Because this was the plan. Again, this was a short-term thing. And we know how quick fans turn on you, right? So if this thing turns around where you end up moving off of Luka and they end up winning the NBA championship, solely predicated on what the plan was, which was defense, are we still saying fire Nico?
Yes, because Joe, what you're talking about is the equivalent of putting your entire life savings on 23 on a roulette wheel. Like that's what you're saying.
So if
You're
it
saying,
hits, though, if it hits,
but
man,
that's
it's a
the
good
difference,
choice,
Ox, is
man.
like I think what Mars and I are saying, and if Damien was up here, I'm sure he would agree with to some extent. There is that it doesn't matter if it hits. Betting your life savings on a roulette wheel is stupid, regardless. You
Oh,
can't
it matters
afford
if it hits. It 100% matters if it hits. It could be.
100% matters.
So it
You'll
could, it could be
feel
stupid.
better
It could
about
be,
the bad
I
decision
know.
if it hits.
I know. I get what you're saying, Pin. I get what you're saying. Yes, that is a stupid thing to do. I would never do that, and I hope none of you would ever put your life savings on a roulette wheel for no matter what number you put it on. Don't put it on black. Don't put it on red. Don't put it on 0. Don't put it on 00. Don't do it. But if it hits, it hits. You know what I'm saying? I'm curious though. I want to ask, how many games have we seen Kyrie and AD play together?
Like 5.
That's part of the argument.
Well,
I mean,
I mean, injuries happen. Injuries happen in basketball. They played a couple together. So I'm just, I'm still stuck on that. Yo, I'm sorry, I can't come off of that. I just need to see them, play together again this season when they're healthy. And that's like once they get back together, things are gonna look so much better than they do right now. I just hate when people make major moves in times of desperation or just when things are looking bad. Like this isn't the Dallas Mavericks aren't really in that bad of a situation right now, if you ask me. I don't know. I feel like right now Cooper Flagg's getting time to struggle. Time to play and just get loose, get get used to the NBA and whatnot. And so I'm like, this thing is gonna turn around so fast. Like, no, it might not. Obviously, Anthony Davis isn't Luka Doncic, but this thing is gonna turn around so fast. And I know that y'all see where they are right now, and you can't see through it, and you can't be optimistic about all the players that are not playing. And it's just, to me, it's so obvious. Like, when you don't have Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, and Derek Lively, you're not going to be good. But once you have those 3 players, you go from the worst team in the West to one of the better teams in the West that fast. I don't understand why this is such a, so crazy to you.
But this isn't a video game, though. This isn't.
It's not a video game, exactly. I'm talking about real life. I'm talking about real life.
So look, here's what I'm saying. I have never been a fan of a team that did something like this. The closest I've come is watching the Raptors trade Vince Carter for Eric Williams and Aaron Williams. It's the closest I've ever gone. And when I heard Jalen Rose's thoughts on it, that told me everything about how players react to a deal like this when it goes so badly optically. You got to look at the perspective of Klay Thompson, Kyrie Irving, Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, everyone in that locker room who looked at themselves and said, "We did what?" Like they were messing with Luka. They loved Luka. Okay. Luka loved Dallas. So when you trade a player like that, who's so fundamental to your organization, had just brought you to the finals and was so integral to his teammates in terms of getting them shots, in terms of how they played, what Mars brought up, like Klay Thompson went to Dallas to play with Luka, right? Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively, they had success repetitions with Luka. Now we got to do everything on the fly. Anthony Davis is like a really great player. It's not to take away anything from how great AD is or that he's a better defender. It's just there's a human component to this, not only from the fans who are screaming fire Nico at every single game, but also the players in that locker room that are saying, if they could trade him, are we on a ship that's about to sink?
I mean, I think
everybody
understands that. Like, that's not something that they think about. But at the same time, I feel like you took the human element out of Nico making that trade. Like, I think he made a decision based on his gut feeling. Like, his gut feeling felt a certain way. Now, was his gut feeling wrong? Yeah, it was wrong, but he also didn't suspect Kyrie to tear his ACL or Anthony Davis to, be unhealthy. Anthony Davis got hurt the first game he played too. So I don't think he expected that. Same with the Lakers. Luka got hurt too when he got to LA. So
he was already hurt when he got traded.
Yeah, so I think you're taking a human element out of people just making decisions to try to win. Like that's the main thing. He trusted his gut feeling and it didn't work out. But it's not that big of a deal for you to say like it's stupid. It's stupid. Like trusting your gut feeling isn't stupid. Like a lot of times your gut feeling is right. So Jordan, he just made a mistake.
Karma is a.
I don't think that's karma.
Karma is a fat.
It's a
fat what?
It's a bitch.
Yeah,
I'm
but
gonna
I
say
don't.
this:
But I
what
don't
they
think that's
did
karma.
to
Why would that
Luka
be
on
karma?
his way out.
Skinny.
No,
My bad, Mars.
I'm
Skinny.
gonna
Why
tell
would
you
that be
this
karma?
because what y'all did to Luka's reputation when he left. Oh, he's lazy. He's a drinker.
He already
He's
had
this,
that
he's that.
reputation.
Nah, bro. What they did is they took that reputation and they put kerosene
They
on
tried
it.
to justify.
They tried to justify
the
that
trade.
shit.
Yeah,
they tried
did.
to pull some
They
PR
did.
stunt about how he showed up 270. He's lazy. We don't want to pay him. Oh, he's your
did.
problem now.
Were those things true?
That's not.
He
That's not
just
karma.
brought them to the finals.
There's no way
I'm just asking if it's true or
You
not.
could bring a team to the
He's
finals while
not
being
perfect.
lazy
I'm
and
sure
fat.
he's not perfect. I'm sure he's got his demons.
To
He's
answer your
going
question,
through a lot
Ox,
of
yes,
shit.
it
You know,
was
he
true.
went through a lot
To
of
answer
shit
your
with his
question, Ox,
mom.
Yeah, but
yes,
that
it
ain't
was true.
karma though. Chill. That ain't karma because
Ox, you an empathetic dude.
because
You bring
Kyrie
your
and
mom
Anthony Davis
too.
got hurt. There's no way you think that's karma. There's
I
no
don't
way
care,
you
that's
an
bro.
karma.
empathetic dude. If you had to fight your mother in court, like that shit'll drain you a little bit mentally. You know,
Correct.
you know what I mean? Like Luka's been through some stuff.
That's a part of
obviously.
life. That's a part of life, Penn.
Yeah,
I can't give you 350 mil because you and your mama got problems.
Okay,
Like that
but-
don't
but-
got nothing
but
to
at
do with me. Y'all need to
but at-
work that
but
shit
at
out
the
on
same-
at Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? Like that's between
Ox,
y'all.
this is a projection business, okay? You get fired for being wrong about your projections, okay? We project that Marvin Bagley's great. You get fired if he's not. You project that James Wiseman's going to be great. You get fired because he's not. Okay, so you project Luka is 270 pounds and he's going the wrong way in his career, and he shows up on Men's Health magazine. He shows up looking like the way he does for the Lakers.
He showed up. He showed up like that due to what happened. He wasn't looking like that with the Mavericks. Mind you, Penn. I'm not trying to go back, Penn. I'm not trying to go back and forth with you about if the trade was good or bad. Okay, like that's not really, to me. That's over with. I'm just more so talking about the timing of the firing of Nico Harrison is weird to me. Like it does to me. If the trade was good or the trade was bad, that shit is done. Like I said, spilled orange juice is spilled orange juice. You know what I'm saying? We can't put it back in the carton. It's over. So I'm just saying, like, once again, I'm just curious to know why would they do it in November when these guys are hurt like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, Nico made the trade, but he didn't.
I don't understand why they.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't hurt Derek Lively. He didn't hurt Kyrie Irving. He didn't hurt Anthony Davis. So for me, it's just kind of like, it would have made more sense to me, Penn, if they waited this season and those guys came back and they were healthy. If these guys come back together and they're healthy, and let's say for the last four months of the season, it looks terrible still. It's bad. They can't get it together. Then all right, Nico, you tried it. It's terrible. Bad job. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? But since they didn't trade him when Kyrie got hurt, when he traded Luka or whatever, then it's kind of, to me, it just doesn't make sense to do it right now in November. That's my only point. Once again, if you guys feel a certain way about the Luka Doncic trade, you have every right to feel that way. Luka Doncic is amazing, but Luka Doncic was not looking like this until
he got traded.
That trade happened. Luka Doncic was absolutely up. What?
He reconnected with his dad.
Join way.